We're living in crazy times. We are hearing about new AI technology announcements almost on a weekly basis. Things that we didn't even imagine that we can do 1 year ago even, we can do now. Not only that we can do them, we can also choose our providers from a list that is constantly growing. Now, on this session, I'm going to focus on anything related to voice conversational AI and how these technologies can be used for use cases related to voice conversational AI. Now, let's start with a promise. Now, in May last year, I think we all saw OpenAI voice bot demo. It was almost 1 year ago. And this set the expectations on how a voice bot should look like. Now, OpenAI just set the expectations and the direction to anything that followed during the last year. And the promise is that we'll have natural voice conversations with a bot, as if we're speaking with an intelligent person. This person can understand us accurately and also responds immediately with reduced latency. It will also be able to detect emotions. I'm speaking as if this is the future. This is not the future. This is happening now, yeah? It will also be able to detect emotions, also express emotions, and be empathetic. And also be able to speak multiple languages, but what most of the human agents cannot do today. And we're speaking about multiple various technologies. Of course, LLMs with multiple modalities, text, voice modalities, text-to-speech, speech-to-text, and also other technologies that I'm going to mention in this session. Now, how is that affecting the industry? Now, I assume most end customers either saw the demos of OpenAI, not only OpenAI, also others of the voice bots. If they didn't do that, they're probably playing with ChatGPT, speaking to ChatGPT, speaking to Gemini, or maybe Claude. And they're regular to speak in a natural, have natural conversation with a bot. Now, this is exactly what they're going to expect also from the contact centers, from the service, from the customer service. They're going to expect exactly the same thing. And this is very hard to achieve if you work. I know most of the implementations today for voice bots are based on LSUs and flow editors. But it's very hard to achieve this user experience if you work with NLUs and flow editors. If you start using LLMs, RAG, and other technologies, first, it's a much better user experience, but it's also easier, faster to build. Also easier to maintain. Now, we speak a lot about voice bots, but voice AI is more than voice bots. And I'm going to speak about other options, other things that you can do in this space with the same technologies. And one thing for sure, anything you choose, since we don't know what will happen 1 month from today, anything you choose, any solution that you choose, must adapt rapidly to the evolving changes. So in case you would think, let's say, half a year from now that you want something else, you will be able to change. Now, if I'm a contact center manager and I look about all these technologies, all these providers, I see a lot of options. It's very confusing. It's changing, constantly changing. So what are the options that I have today? What should I start with? And how do I integrate that with my business flows? So let's start with the options. What are the options in voice conversational AI? First one, no surprise, are voice bots, voice AI agents. So that's about conversational IVRs, voice bots, Q&A bots. Anyone knows about that. The other thing are agent assistants. So agent assistants are for calls between customers and human agents. And to these calls, you can add a bot that will assist the human agent with things like, which questions to ask, suggest answers, go and fetch data from databases, display them on the agent screen. You can do call summarization, you can do sentiment analysis, and this is just to help the human agent to answer queries faster, also more accurate. Post-call analytics is more for the contact center managers to see what's happening on the contact center. Also based on AI, you can do a lot of things. Reason for the call, CX insight, cross-sell, upsell opportunities, agent QA, and multiple other things. And the last one are related to voice transformations. Now, voice transformation is taking the voice either of the agent or the customer and transform it. And you can see multiple use cases for that. Real-time translations is one of them, accent softening and others. I will focus that. I have more slides speaking about that. Okay, so let's start. The next question would be, what should I start from? Where should I start from? And one of the things we see a lot of customers doing today, starting from AI-powered call summarization. And why is that the first one that they choose? Because of two reasons, clear ROI and also easy to implement. So while we were speaking about clear ROI, we see that after call agent, the time of that the agent spends on after call summarization, maybe 10 to 30% can even be more, depending on the industry. With AI-powered call summarization, you can save the agent time. Summarization are also more accurate, and the agent can focus on what he needs to do and not take notes for the summary afterwards. Easy to implement. Why is that easy to implement? Because this is using off-the-shelf LLMs and off-the-shelf speech-to-text providers, and also a type of a voice AI orchestrator that can receive the voice streams from the contact center, work with the speech-to-text, send the transcription to the LLM, have the summary, and send it to the CRM. Now, we are working with customers who started to work with us about, I don't know, since they started to work with us, it took about, and I'm speaking about large customers, 3 months, or let's say 4 months until they started production. And we're speaking about companies that move slow. These are large companies, and since this is very easy, they started to deploy that very fast. Now, this can be deployed on-premise. We see some also using on-premise LLMs, on-premise speech-to-text providers. Can, of course, also be available on the cloud. And also something that is very important, it can serve as a foundation for offline CX analytics, but not only for this. If you have all the transcripts, all the call summaries from your contact center, it's a very good basis also to build your voice bots, because you can work with RAG afterwards, and you can build easily voice bots because you have all the data already. So this is why we think that this is something that you can start with. Another low-hanging fruit for that is conversational IVRs. Now, when we speak about conversational IVRs, we speak about intent-based routing. Just to understand what the customer wants and route to the relevant queue. For LLMs, it's very easy to do. You don't need to train them. It's also off-the-shelf option with LLMs. It's very simple to implement, and once you implement that, it's also a basis for developing more voice bots, because you already set the infrastructure for that. Now I want to move to voice transformation services, the thing that I mentioned before. And let's start with the first one. The first one are language translation services. What typically is used today are either hiring bilingual or multilingual human agents, or maybe work with the third parties that give you the same service with human agents. Now, the issue with this is that it's higher costs. Usually, this type of agents are more costly. It doesn't have a good way to scale, because if you need to scale, if you need to support bursts, you need to hire more human agents. And this also leads to poor user experience, because if you have a burst, then you have a long waiting time on the queue until someone that speaks the relevant language is available. So this can be replaced with the AI-powered translation service. You can see here various technologies that may be used for that: text-to-speech, speech-to-text, LLMs, and the translator that is in between, that is doing the whole orchestration. In the future, or maybe not the longer future, maybe we can skip even the text-to-speech and speech-to-text and send voice directly to the LLM and receive voice from the LLM. And this type of technology is getting mature more and more. Another thing that is related to voice transformations is that you can do multiple things, okay? We call it voice transformation chaining, that you can take multiple services and then receive the voice either of the agent or the customer, and then you can do noise cancellation, accent softening, deepfake detection, and also additional services like speaker authentication, emotion detection and generation, speech rate and tone adjustments. Now here we're speaking not about speaking with the bots. This is again a call between a customer and the human agent, and then you can manipulate the streams of the human agent or maybe the customer. A little bit about audio codes. So audio codes are more than 30 years in the market. We're focusing on voice and voice networks and voice connectivity. We can connect Microsoft Teams, we can connect contact centers, any type of contact center, any other telephony services to each other. We're #1 enterprise SBC in the market, also direct route SBC for Microsoft. 65 of the Fortune 100 enterprises are working with audio codes in some way or another, and we also operate globally. About audio codes, so about 5 or 6 years ago, we decided to leverage our capabilities, our expertise in voice networks and voice connectivity to also connect all these voice networks, all these telephonies, all these contact centers to all the AI services that I just mentioned. And with this, we can connect to any to a lot of the most popular conversational AI platforms, text-to-speech, speech-to-text. We also started integrations with LLMs. And we have two options, either the Voice AI Connect Enterprise for a dedicated setup, or Live Hub as a SaaS platform. So key takeaways. First, Voice AI is not only voice bots. We saw other options, and you can start using the other options maybe as a first option. You can start immediately. I know that a lot of contact centers may be using on-premise contact centers and have plans to migrate to the cloud. They can start immediately with what they have, and then along the way migrate to the cloud and use the same services. Avoid locking in. We see and we heard about all the new enhancements that are happening almost on a weekly basis. You need to be able to adjust and to be able to adopt these new technologies. And also, you may also do changes on the contact center. So you need to choose a solution that is agnostic. Enterprise grade is about security, privacy, resiliency, scalability. Of course, any solution that you choose should be enterprise grade. And the last one, be mindful of the AI services costs. You don't want surprises after you start production. And there are ways to minimize the cost. So thank you very much. We're on booth number 4. You can come and visit us. If you have any questions, if you want to start with trialing anything, you can start immediately with AudioCodes Live Hub. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ilan. Maybe quickly stay with us because we have, I think we have time for that one question. There was one question from Nicholas. So we're going to put you to the test with that question. So he says, like, how real-time is voice translation? He says, for example, a German phrase where the verb is at the end of the sentence cannot be fully translated to English, where the verb might be the second word in the sentence until the sentence has finished.
Yeah.
And this could mean a delay of many seconds. So he says, like, I'm understanding this might be working in the chat channel, but I'd like to understand more how this really works in the voice area.
That's of course an issue and a good question, because even humans, when they listen to someone speaking, only when they know the context, they exactly know what he means. So if we will get word by word and then try to translate word by word, I'm not sure it will work well. So the way current solutions work today is that we wait for the end of the utterance, the end of the sentence, and then once we know the context, we start the translation. So that poses, that means delays, okay? So you can minimize the delays. There are ways to minimize the delays. For instance, sending voice directly to the LLM is something that can help, but it cannot avoid that totally. More ways is to just type it. Let's say I'm speaking English, and when someone speaks Spanish, I will hear him speaking Spanish in a lower volume, that it will be interactive. Okay, that you will not hear silence, and that the latency would not be that impactful.
Yeah.
So these are the ways we have today. Maybe in the future, just last week I spoke with Microsoft about this. They say the same things. There are no surprises here, but maybe something will come that will reduce the latency.
Thank you very much.